So today I'm going to show you how to change the oil on a 2016 Dodge Journey V6 3.6 liter. This same engine applies to a lot of the Dodge Journeys and some other cars too, some other Dodges. Uh, the reason I'm doing this is because this is a really easy oil change. So if you happen to have one of these cars and you're taking it to the quickie oil change factory, then you're spending a lot of money that you don't need to spend, and we all know the dangers of those quickie oil changes. My buddy Mike the Backyard Mechanic, hi Mike, he has a video to go over this, and I'll put that in the link as well. So here's the things that you need in order to do the oil change. You need an oil filter. This is a little bit of an unusual oil filter. It actually goes in from the top, so that's what it looks like. And then you need 6 quarts of 5W20 synthetic oil, which I have on the right. And I normally just get the cheap stuff, and I say the cheap stuff, the synthetic, but I don't go get the red line or anything like that. I watched some videos that show that this stuff really is just about as good as that other stuff that costs a whole lot more. Plus, as often as I change this oil, I change it every 3,000 miles, and you really don't need to do that anymore. But this car has 150,000 miles, so when it gets up to that level of mileage, then I go ahead and change the oil pretty often. So I don't see any sense in spending a bunch of money on oil that I'm just going to change every 3,000 miles. The other things that you need, you need a 13 millimeter socket. And so this is to pull the plug out of the oil pan underneath. And this is a 24 millimeter, and this is to pull the oil filter out of the top. So the first things I'm going to do here, I'm going to take the oil dipstick out, which I've already partially gotten out, and I'm going to set it aside somewhere on a clean surface. Of course, I'll wipe it down again before I put it back in. And let me remove all this stuff here to get it out of the way for demo purposes. Now, the other thing that a lot of videos will tell you to do is to unscrew this piece right here, and you actually can get your 24 millimeter socket down in there and pull the filter back out. But I find it a lot easier to just pop this whole piece off. It's just 4 tabs, 2 over here, 2 over here, and I've already popped this one off. It's real easy to take off, real easy to put back on. And there we go. And if you step right over here, you can see right here is the 24 millimeter socket that I'll pull out. This whole piece will come out, and then I'll just remove and replace that filter that I showed you. And then of course the oil pan. The other thing I didn't mention is you will need an oil drain pan. At least I don't think I mentioned that. So that is right there. I know that's sideways. And then of course the drain plug, which is underneath, which I'll take this off the tripod and show you that right before I do it. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. There's what that looks like. Like I said, I change my oil pretty often, so it's really not that bad. I'm gonna go ahead and set this in the drain pan. Pull this piece off. I know you can't see it, it's off camera. Okay, so that's what it looks like after I pull the cartridge out. It's just, you just grab it and pull. There's really not much to it. I'm gonna wipe it clean just a little bit on the outside and the inside. There's a new clean filter along with the gasket that comes with it. So what I'll want to do here is just remove this piece, this little gasket, and then just put this on to replace it. It would probably work fine if I didn't, because it doesn't have very many miles on it. But since it came with it, I'm going to go ahead and do it. This piece goes this way. There's not really any other way that it can go. So I'm just going to take it, snap it into place real easy, and just screw it back in. You don't want to over tighten this. It does have that gasket that will seal. Okay, there we go. The last bit of the oil draining out. I will put the plug back in, and I'll be back up top to fill it with oil. All right, here we go. Go ahead and add the 6 quarts of oil. I've already taken the oil filler cap out and put a funnel in, because it is totally impossible to do this without an oil funnel cap. Well, it's not really impossible, but it's impossible to get all the oil in there without drenching everything and having to use twice as much oil as you need to get 6 quarts of oil. Fortunately, this car takes exactly 6 quarts of oil, so you don't have to deal with some weird quarter of a quart that then you've got sitting in your garage for 3 or 4 more months, and then you don't remember when you go to the auto parts store if you still have it. So you just use it all. This car doesn't use any oil, so that's all I have to do. One of the things I hate about oil is these things. They put this paper over the opening along with this plastic that you have to try to figure out how to get out. If anybody has good tips on how to get that out without making a big deal out of it, let me know. There we are. Remove the funnel. Set it aside as I'll need it to catch the old oil. Wipe the oil dipstick. Put it back. I know I've put the exact amount of oil that this car requires, but I have it up on ramps. So I'm going to back it off, check for leaks. Take my used oil, put it back in the containers, take it to O'Reilly or wherever to recycle it, and I'm done. And the best part about this is this whole job cost me about $35 tops. Whereas you would have paid more for that at the rip-off oil change place, and you're really not sure if they would have changed that filter, and you don't really know if they would have done a good job, if they would have over-tightened the bolt down at the bottom, all those things that those places do where they simply don't care. Stripping out the bolt, the oil drain plug bolt by just using pliers or some cheapo tool, universal tool. So I'm a big fan of doing this myself. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start the car up, check for any leaks underneath, call it a day. All right, everyone, all good? Thanks for watching.